Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stefanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to up-level, manifest, and glow.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Next Level You podcast. Thanks for tuning in today. Today's Microdose episode is all about learning from expanders. These are people in our lives who show us what's possible, people who are 10 steps ahead of us, who are doing what we hope to be doing someday, who are doing something that we see ourselves doing down the road. The goal of today's episode is to help you guys understand the power of learning from expanders. I also want to share personal stories of expanders who have influenced me. And I want to emphasize the importance of investing in these relationships without falling into that comparison trap, which is all too easy because I've been there. But I also want to use this episode to remind you that everyone's on their own timeline, okay? And we need to be careful to not compare our chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. But again, this is all too common. So let's just dive right in, okay? You can probably tell I'm not in my typical office space. I'm not recording from my home office like I normally am. I am actually recording from my hotel room. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the weekend. I'm up here getting trained in clinical hypnotherapy, which will be adding to the business as of April 1st. So I'm super excited to officially, after this weekend, be certified in clinical hypnotherapy. And this has been a long time coming. This has been on my vision board for 3 years now. It's been something that I've been really passionate about because I've seen personal success in my own healing journey from hypnotherapy. And I've just known for a long time that eventually at some point in my career, I was going to get trained in it. It's here. It's happening. I am one day away from officially being able to call myself a certified clinical hypnotherapist. And I'm so freaking excited, you guys. Like, you have no idea. I'm containing myself right now because I have a scratchy voice. I had lost my voice earlier this week. I was sick earlier this week. I'm still getting it back. And so I'm containing myself for that reason. But like, I'm secretly just so freaking excited that I'm officially able to say that I'm a hypnotherapist. Okay, let's get back on track. So again, we're here to talk about expanders and how you can learn from these expanders in your life. There are people in your life who are literally living proof that what you want is possible. I like to call them expanders. That's not a word that I coined, you guys. I got that from an actual expander in my life. I'm trying to think who it was. Allie Reeves. I think Allie Reeves, potentially, or Julia Martin. I honestly can't remember who I first heard about it from. One of them did a podcast episode talking about the power of expanders. And ever since then, I've been using that term in my own life. So again, they're just people in our lives who are living proof that what we want to do is possible. And we can learn from these people, but we need to learn from them without comparing ourselves to them. Because falling into that comparison trap, that can sometimes hurt us. But learning from expanders is often one of the fastest ways we can grow. And I'm living proof of that. So today's micro episode is all about leveraging inspiration without falling into that comparison trap. Okay, let's dive in. First things first, what's an expander? Again, somebody who shows you what's possible. Someone who's a few steps or a few chapters ahead of you, literally living the life, business, or version of yourself that you are working towards. So examples of expanders. Sorry, I'm in a hotel suite and I have the window shut in the living room part of my hotel suite. Anyways, I saw a shadow as somebody was walking by and it kind of distracted me. Anyways, So I'm not sure where I was at. So they literally expand our vision of what's possible for us. So examples of expanders in my own life is like Julia Martin, one of my first business coaches, Casey at Get Married, my first podcast coach, Lori Harder, my most recent coach, her and her husband, Chris Harder, both are expanders in my world. Jillian Murphy is an expander in my world. So you guys, I could name so many. And of course, now I'm like blanking. Lindsay Marie, who owns Powerhouse Women, is a huge expander in my world. Allie Reeves. Oh man, you guys, I could go on and on, but just to name a few, those are some expanders in my world because they're doing what it is I hope to be doing someday. They're speaking up on stages. They have successful, thriving, monetized podcasts. They have successful 6, 7, 8-figure online businesses, all the things. Danielle Swam is another expander in my life. She is a super successful private practice owner, also is one of my first business coaches as well. Okay, so I digress. So expanders in your world might be coaches, might be mentors, might be peers and masterminds, could be people you follow online, influencers, people you meet in certain networking rooms, people you meet at conferences. They could be anybody. Ultimately, it's somebody in your field doing what it is that you want to be doing, running a business that you hope to someday be running a very similar type of business or model of a business. Why are expanders important? Well, because our brains need proof that what we want is possible for us. When we see it's possible for one or two other people, it just proves to our brain that it can be possible for us too. An expander doesn't have to be somebody who's like 10 chapters ahead of you either. An expander could be somebody that's one chapter ahead of you. Okay. Yeah. And this also matters because when you see somebody who's doing it or who's done it, especially someone who's relatable, not like a celebrity billionaire, your subconscious starts to believe, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. So your subconscious is going to look for proof that this is true in your world, which is huge. Okay. They help you to dream bigger, think differently, and take bolder action. Ultimately, what they're doing is helping to expand your way of thinking, expand your brain. We all need that from time to time. So let me give you some specific stories of expanders in my life and how they've influenced me. I'm going to start with Julia Martin because Julia Martin has influenced me in so many different ways, you guys. She was my second business coach that I worked with in year 2 of opening my business. She is an online coach, a manifestation coach. She has her own curriculum that her and another business partner started for schools in Hawaii, like an SEL curriculum. She is a successful podcast host. I mean, she's just killing it in her world, you guys. She came into my world because I found her podcast back in 2020, right after the pandemic hit. And I just fell in love with her podcast. I fell in love with her energy. She's just such a great woman, all in all. Got turned on to her online program. Eventually, I invested in it. Best thing I ever did. Hands down, best investment I ever made. And what she was doing that really expanded my vision was really just like her online coaching business. Her whole model made me realize, like, I think I could be doing this. And now here I am today doing just that, which is so freaking wild to me. Besides her business being what I was hoping to build for myself, she also just was living the lifestyle that I craved as well. She had that freedom to be with her kids, at home with her kids on days when she wanted to be home with her kids. She had that mindset that I wanted to embody, spiritual beliefs that I wanted to embody. There was a lot about her that I really saw myself in. I wanted to emulate that. And then the last thing about her that made her an expander in my world is just her confidence. She just carried this really expansive, magnetic confidence about her. And it was like, I want to be like her when I grow up. What I learned from her was huge. I mean, the list, there's a laundry list, but mindset shifts, manifestation practices, self care practices and routines, spiritual practices, business moves. I could go on and on, you guys. Seriously, she has influenced me, my mindset, and my business in huge ways. The impact of not just working with her, but also just knowing her has changed my life, both personally and professionally, in the biggest way. I made friends from her programs. I've made friends from her retreat. I've built relationships that I wouldn't have otherwise. And it's been life changing. And my mindset and my business has been influenced by her in such a big way. Another expander that you've probably heard me talk about before is Spencer Brazard. Spencer Brazard is a mind body fertility coach, or she was. She's actually shifting away from that. And fun fact, I actually recently brought her onto the podcast and we recorded a collab. It was such a stretch, you guys, reaching out to her. I had doubts about it. I didn't think she was going to say yes, but I reached out to her on a whim. The download came to me during a sound healing session. I, the next day, sent her an email. And then right after sending the email, I sent her a voice memo through DMs on Instagram. And I heard back from her, I think it was like within a week. And she agreed to come on to my podcast. And she said, like, pretty much the only reason she agreed to it was because she felt like I was just so authentic, and something in her gut told her that she needed to say yes to this. And she's like, I get so many pitches, you wouldn't believe it, but something feels different about yours. I need to say yes to this. And I felt so fucking honored that she said yes. I mean, if you don't ask, the answer is always a no. But I was like, I'm just going to ask. What's it going to hurt? And I couldn't believe she said yes. Wow. So she's an expander in my life because she's a few steps ahead where I want to be. She has this huge successful podcast, a successful online coaching business. She travels. She's a lover of beaches like me. She travels to the most beautiful locations with her family, with her husband and two boys. And also, she has influenced my mindset specifically through the fertility journey in a huge way. Her book changed my mindset in such a huge way. So did her podcast too, but the book was more, the book impacted me even more. So she's a few steps ahead where I want to be, and she's shown me what's possible with the mindset work in business. She's just shown me what's possible. Her book really shifted something inside of me in a rather large way. And ever since listening to her podcast and binging the crap out of it through the fertility journey, she's just been a huge expander in my world. And even though I didn't invest in her program because we chose to invest in adoption instead, binging her podcast and reading her book changed my whole world through the fertility journey. And it really paid off in the end because now we have our beautiful boy. And I believe it's because I took her advice and I surrendered and I manifested him. So really grateful for her being an expander in my world. I would say another expander in my world is somebody who's a little more local, because I want to use somebody who's not like at that celebrity type. Not that Spencer Brazard and Julia Martin are celebrities, but in my world, they kind of are. But I want to use somebody who's more like at my level, but still a few steps ahead of me locally, an expander in my world. And I would also go as far to say that she's a mentor in my world. Is her name's Stefanie. She's the owner of the Health Spa, which is a holistic and integrative health clinic just a half hour away from where I live. Stefanie is a hugely successful business owner, multi-business owner. In fact, she owns her own supplement line, which is called Select Balance. If you haven't heard of it, the link, I'm an affiliate with Select Balance, and the link is in the show notes. All clean supplement line that they make in-house. Stefanie has been an expander in my world for probably 6 years now, since before I started my business for sure. And I would say she is an expander because she has really expanded my idea of what it looks like to be a passionate business owner, because she definitely is that. She's expanded my idea of what motherhood could look like. She's expanded my idea of what balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship look like. I mean, I just feel like she's doing it the right way. And I really, really admire her for that. And I put her in that expander status for that reason. She's living the life that I want for myself and my family. And she is also somebody who shows up spiritually in every area of her life, like I do. And she's successful in business, and she's able to, those two things can coexist for her, which is so great. And that's what I obviously emulate in my business as well. She's also somebody who models that nervous system regulation personally and in her business. And then I would also say she's grown and she's got a thriving soul-led business, which is what I am trying to do as well. All of that put together is what inspires me about Stefanie. I also love that we share the same name.
Let's talk about something that drives me absolutely crazy. We have been conditioned to believe that fixing our health has to come with a trade-off. Want better sleep? Cool, here's a pill. Oh, but here's some grogginess, dependency, and a list of other side effects. Are you struggling with your hormones? Here's a medication that might help one thing, but then it's going to mess up 3 other things. It's exhausting. And honestly, it's BS. When I was going through my fertility journey, I hit a breaking point because every medication came with side effects that impacted my physical and my mental health. And I finally got to a point where I was thinking, there has to be a better way. I refuse to accept that this is just how it has to be. That's when I found Earthly Wellness, and it completely shifted how I approach my health. Here's what I love about Earthly. They believe you should be empowered to make your own informed health choices. They create herbal remedies and body care products that support your health naturally with clean, non-toxic ingredients that you can actually recognize and pronounce. There's no side effects, no junk, no parabens, no fragrance, preservatives, or common allergens like corn, soy, gluten, dairy, or nuts. Just pure, effective products that actually work. I started with their Goodnight Lotion and Immunade Vitamin C, and then I got into their tinctures. And honestly, every single product I've tried has been a game changer in my life. They've supported me through my fertility journey, and I genuinely would not recommend them if I didn't believe in them wholeheartedly. And I'm not the only one, you guys. I've heard from clients and listeners who've experienced incredible shifts as well. One person said, my sleep has improved a ton since using the gut health oil. It in April, and almost 2 months later, my sleep has sustained. Another person shared, my menstrual cycle has been off for years, and the only supplement I added was the gut health oil. Since starting it, my cycle has been more regular. Here's the thing. Our society has normalized living with symptoms. It's messed up. Thyroid issues, hormonal imbalances, heavy, painful periods, daily bloating. We've been told that's just how it is. It's normal. But you guys, it doesn't have to be. These are symptoms, and there's an underlying root cause for all of them. Earthly has products that support not just the symptoms, but the root of what's going on. As a mental health therapist, I recommend Earthly products to my therapy clients all the time. I always suggest trying something holistic first and foremost, something that won't create dependency or side effects, and Earthly delivers on that every single time. They have products for all ages, body care, herbal remedies, vitamins, cleaning products, baby products, skincare. It's truly a one-stop shop for anyone who's ready to take their health into their own hands. So if you're tired of the side effects, tired of Band-Aid solutions, or just ready to invest in your health the right way, head to earthly.com using the link in my show notes. And here's the best part. If you're a first-time customer, you can use code CHOOSENATURAL, that's all caps, CHOOSENATURAL, for 10% off. If you're a returning customer, you can use code COMEBACK for 10% off. That's all caps, COMEBACK for 10% off as well. Your health is an investment. Make it a clean one.
So again, these are just examples of expanders in my world, but these people, they didn't just teach me tactics. They actually expanded my own identity. They have shown me a version of myself that I didn't know was possible. And that's what's so great about expanders, you guys, is they kind of show you something that's possible, but that you might doubt. And when you are around these people, when you are in close proximity to them, even if it's just like online proximity, it changes things in a huge way. So why does it pay to invest in expanders? Well, the ROI of investing in people ahead of you is you get access to their strategies, access to their mindset, and access to their energy. You cannot put a price tag on that. You literally can shortcut years of trial and error by learning from their mistakes and their wins. You elevate your own standards because you start to see what's normal at the next level, which is huge. And you build relationships that can turn into collaborations, referrals, friendships, mentorships, you name it. You can't put a price tag on that. I am a living example of that. So I chose to invest in Julia Martin because I knew she could help me build an online coaching business. So I invested $3,000 to work with her, and it was a 12-week program. The main draw was because I'd been wanting to work with Julia Martin. She was a big expander in my world at the time. And the ROI that came out of that was I got revenue from coaching clients immediately. I had 2 coaching clients already before I graduated from her program. We did a session with a psychic medium to gain clarity on making sure that we're building a soul aligned business. I got confidence from working with her that I did not have before. I got opportunities to meet people in that program that are now really good friends of mine, cheerleaders in my life, business besties, you name it. And the big lesson from investing in Julia Martin is not the cost that goes into it, but it's a catalyst. Life changes after you work with these people in the best way possible. When you are in rooms with expanders, you literally start to become the person who belongs in those rooms. You might show up day one, feel that imposter syndrome and think, I don't belong here. But it doesn't take long before you're in that room from week to week and you start to realize, I do belong here. I'm one of them. That's growth. That's expansion. Your nervous system literally recalibrates and your identity shifts and your vision expands, and it's huge. It's so huge. It's magnetic. It's magnetic. It's expansive. The growth is unlike any level of growth I've ever experienced. What I do want to say though, is another reason I'm recording this is I think it's important to not put expanders on a pedestal. I catch myself doing this all too often. And I try to remind myself, bring it back down, Stefanie. Okay. They're no different than you and I. They poop just like I poop. They fart just like I fart, right? I mean, literally, they're no different than you and I. So we need to be careful not to put them up on a pedestal too much because that's where that trap happens. Okay. It's really easy to look at these people and think they are some superhuman, right? That they have it all figured out, that they're untouchable. That's not healthy. The truth is, they're just people. They have bad days like we do. They have doubts like we do. They have messy moments behind the scenes just like we do. We're not really that different, okay? The difference is they're just a few chapters ahead of me, but they're still in the book, just like I am. And why it's dangerous when we put them up on a pedestal is it creates this distance between us and them, and it makes their success feel unreachable instead of reachable. You don't want to send that message to your brain. You want your brain to believe that it's reachable for you. And when you send the message that it's unreachable to your brain, it keeps you small because you literally start to think, I could never be like them. And that is not helpful. That is not helpful. Take them down from that pedestal, almost like they're like a miniature little figurine. Just take them off that pedestal, bring them back down. Okay. The reframe that I think is really important here is to tell yourself that expanders are just proof of what's possible. They are not pedestals themselves. They are showing us what is possible, but they're not better than us. They're just a little bit further along than we are on their path. We're allowed to admire them and see parts of ourselves in them, but we need to see us more as equals. They're just a future equal of us. They're just a few steps ahead of us in the path of entrepreneurship. A quick example of this is when I did go out to LA in 2024 to meet Julia Martin for the first time for her business retreat she was offering. I will be honest, I was a little starstruck when I got there. I was I think I literally told her when I finally came face to face with her, I'm pretty sure I told her something along the lines of, my God, I can't believe I'm in front of the Julia Martin. How dumb. How fucking dumb was that? Seriously, I cannot believe I said that. She's not a celebrity. Okay. It was so stupid. I feel like that I said that, but it's just goes to show that we do this. We put them up on these pedestals. And what I realized from being around her that whole day was she's human just like I am. She's messy just like I am. She's relatable. She's really not better than me. Okay. And so I took her down from that pedestal And I had to consciously bring them back down. I had to bring myself back down to earth and remember, like, she's just a few steps ahead. Okay. But it just goes to show that we all have those moments. And then the only other thing I want to say is don't compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 10. And this is huge, you guys. This is so important because that comparison trap, it's so easy to look at expanders and compare where they are to where we are and feel like we are failing. You see their polished brand, you see their full programs, their big wins, and you forget that they started exactly where we are now. Potentially worse, though, potentially. I mean, you just never know. The reframe, what you need to tell yourself instead is you're comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 10, and that's not fair to you. They've been building for potentially years, but you're just getting started. Or maybe you're just a year in. Their chapter 1 probably looked very similar to your chapter 1. It was probably messy, uncertain, full of trial and error, just like yours. And what I want you to remember is everyone has their own timeline. Your path does not have to look like theirs. Your chapter 10 is going to look different than theirs. And that's a good thing. We're not here to be cookie cutters, okay? No, your zone of genius is going to be slightly different from their zone of genius, or at least I hope so. So when you catch yourself comparing, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what chapter am I in? What chapter are they in? That's important. Celebrate where you are. Honor your progress. Trust your timing. Use expanders as inspiration and proof, but do not use them as a measuring stick for your worth. Okay, moving on. So if you find yourself learning from expanders, but you also find yourself losing yourself and you get into that comparison trap and you feel like you're losing who you are, here's some guidance to help you not lose yourself. Stay in your own lane. Learn from them, but don't try to be them, okay? You are you. You are Stefanie Dingbaum. You are not Julia Martin. Stay in your lane. Take from them what resonates with you, but leave what doesn't. Again, I'm not here to be Lori Harder. I'm not here to be Julia Martin. I'm not here to be Spencer Brazard. I'm here to be Stefanie Dingbaum. Take what you need, leave the rest. Take what resonates. Your business, your life, and your path is yours. It's unique to you. Use their strategies as inspiration, but not as a blueprint that you have to follow to a T. Take what you feel works for you, leave the rest at the door. Another piece of guidance is celebrate their wins, okay? And celebrate yours. When you see an expander has a big win, celebrate it. Put it in your story. Let it expand your belief in what's possible for you. And then take it a step further. When you have a win, whether it be small or big, celebrate that too. Share it in your stories. You are also writing your own story. We don't just celebrate the expanders. We also celebrate ourselves. That's important. Remember, you are someday going to be someone's expander too. You probably already are, truth be told. There are people a few steps behind you who are looking at you the way you are looking at an expander. I know that for a fact because I have a few people doing that with me, which is extremely humbling, to be honest with you. Extremely humbling. You are already proof for somebody else. Let that humble and empower you like it does me. Okay, so to close this out, expanders are gifts. They show you what's possible. They expand our vision and they help us to grow faster. But they are not to be put up on pedestals. They are not measuring sticks. They are proof, and so are you. So my challenge for you is I want you to identify one expander in your life, somebody you follow or somebody you work with or somebody you admire. What have they shown you is possible? Answer that. And then ask yourself, how can I use that inspiration to take one action this week in my own life? And do that without comparing where you are to where they are. Don't use them as a measuring stick. That is not helpful for you. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful for you. This is, again, just one of those topics that kind of dropped in my head as a download. And I'm like, you know what? this would have been really helpful for me to listen to in the beginning. I'm going to talk about this. I think my listeners will really gain from this. So I hope you found it helpful. It was so fun recording. And if you haven't rated or reviewed the podcast, please take a minute to do so. Also, if you want more in-depth information, I would love it if you would subscribe to my weekly newsletter. I don't spam you, but we just go deeper on these topics and it's really fun. And I'm really trying to grow my email list. So if you know of somebody besides yourself that would want to be added to it, pass it on to them as well. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys all next week.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self, and I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on socials so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go!